The ACC has 6 undefeated teams. Who will remain on top? We have got your weekly power rankings. I got a special guest. He's been to Hollywood and back, but maybe he can talk us through the best of the best when it comes to this conference.
You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's edition of Locked On ACC. I'm your host, Candace Cooper, joined by Kenton Gibbs of Locked On Wolfpack. Each and every day, you can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you download and subscribe to the pod from anywhere you listen and watch. We always appreciate it when you come and stop by the show. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Our friends at Gametime want you to know that if you download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase, you are doing the damn thing. Kenton, got a lot to go over in these power rankings, but first, can we all talk about the fact that Mr. ESPN ACC Network himself is joining us? Congratulations. If you have missed the opportunity today on ACC PM on the ACC Network, Kenton Gibbs stopped by to let them know just how it really goes down over here on this side.
See, you messed around and muted me. And
you had too loud. You'd be too loud in the background.
Had the nerve to call me Hollywood before the show. Now you're muting me in the show. But I'll tell you what, it was a great time. It was it's always great to see Taylor Tannenbaum and company again. You know, me and her linked up at ACC Media Days and had a chat about, you know, a lot of things that are going on at ACC Network right now. It's just exciting times over there. It's exciting times for the conference. You know, I mean, I'm tripping over myself with jubilation about what's going on in the conference right now. But let's get into these power rankings. I know everybody's not going to be as jubilant as I am when they hear where their team is ranked, but I don't care. I don't care nothing about that.
I guess folks really want to know, why did you wear a suit for ACC Network, but you can't wear a suit for us?
Okay, well, here's the thing. I know that I've heard that ESPN has a rule for all their talent that they got to have like blazers or something like that as far as like male talent. So I said, all right, bet I got to show up dressed for the part. Locked On has no such rule. No such rule.
But you could have, like, you know, given us a little razzle dazzle in like continuation of your night. Just saying. You
know, the Red Wings are the winningest team out of the original 6 in terms of hockey. The winningest American franchise, most Stanley Cups as well. So this is razzle dazzle. Lots of razzle.
All right, here we go.
Lots of dazzle.
We get in trouble for not getting into it too quickly. So this is a power ranking show. Want to make sure that we talk through 14-1. There are going to be some people in their fields. Man, oh, man, please don't cuss us out, because I promise you we do not care. I promise you we are just trying to do the best we can with what we got. Let's kick it off in number 14, to no surprise. Virginia, sitting pretty at the bottom. Hate it had to be you, but it has to be somebody. Now, did we see a lot of fight out of this Virginia team against NC State?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think that Virginia's ranking is at all a reflection of their effort. It's a reflection of their efforts. There's a difference, right? Effort is how hard you're playing, how hard you're trying, all that good stuff. Your efforts is the actual result of what that gets you. Their efforts have been fruitless. They have not produced anything in terms of a win this season. As a matter of fact, the game against NC State, that's the closest they've been to any Power 5 team this year. Coming into that game, their combined scores against Power 5 teams, I want to say, was like 91-14 or something along those lines. So, I mean, yeah, this is a team that respectfully, they've shown nothing to warrant being above that. And again, it's not because they hate Coach Elliott and they're not playing hard. That's not what it is. It's just they're not a good team right now.
They have some bright spots, Calandria. Yeah. I think they have a solid enough defense that gets tired, but they're on the up and up. There's nowhere to go but up. Cavs.
Absolutely. You cannot get lower than where you are. You can't do it.
Let's talk about number 13, Boston College.
They're not going to be called to fight Jeff Hafley for much longer.
You think he makes it through the rest of the season?
No. Mm-mm. And here's, I want to say this real quick, and because I know I get a tendency to be long-winded, but I'm going to keep this one short. Right. Everybody had the nerve to tell me, the Dolphins and Broncos was way worse in this game. Not a chance. Not a chance. The Dolphins were pouring it on late, had starters in the game late. Brown pulled them starters early, baby. And even beyond when Brown pulled the starters, let's also look at this. They were up, 42-14 or 42-7 at the half? Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on. Stop playing.
Okay, so here's the thing. It's going to be the battle of the bottom, right, this week between Virginia and Boston College. Mm-hmm. If Boston College loses at home to a very driven, as we just called it, Virginia team, it's a wrap for you, boy?
It's a wrap for you, baby. Go ahead and pack your stuff. I think it's a wrap for Hafley at some point in time this season anyway. At some point in time, this team is going to have a letdown where they just get the doors blown off again. Like what happened. I'm surprised that they kept him after this week, to be quite honest. I'm really and quite honestly a little surprised about that. But the next time it happens, I don't care who it's against. I don't think that you can bring him back. I just don't.
So one more loss, he's out of here.
One more blowout, like y'all don't look like it. Y'all look like an FCS team. Y'all look like y'all are going. And one more thing, tell them, bring me my money. If y'all look like that, it's not going to go well.
1,000%. I'm sorry. Someone airdropped me something. I don't know how they could have airdropped me something in my house, but here we are. All right. So
you better turn it to contacts only. You better turn that thing to contacts only.
What the hell? Okay, we're live, so we're just gonna keep rolling through here. Yeah. Let's talk about the number 12 team, which King Leo VT. You're not that far behind.
I'll say this. It's everybody's got injuries. Everybody's got their injury problems. We're not going to take up for anybody and say injuries are an excuse for anyone. Virginia Tech was down here even when they were at pretty much full strength per se. But with that being said, I mean, this team just doesn't look good. Without Ali Jennings, struggled through the air. Running the ball was a little bit better for them, but at the end of the day, if you can't put up 24 points on Marshall, if you can't put up 4 touchdowns on Marshall, you belong in this bottom echelon, and that's where they are.
Yeah, 1,000% agree. I think that at the end of the day, as much as we want to feel good and optimistic about Virginia Tech, you just got to get the W, right? At the end of the day, you have to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. Marshall was certainly one of those teams, and we keep marching forward for this bad boy. Let's move right along because I know there's more tizzies that are about to occur. Mm-hmm. Wake Forest sits at number 11.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this. A lot of people are looking at this saying, well, how did they drop so far for a loss to Georgia Tech if y'all are so high on Georgia Tech? Where was Georgia Tech last week? I mean, we are if anything, we try our best to be consistent. And if you lose to a bottom, one of the teams that is not up there, you'll get dropped right behind them. You'll find yourself because head-to-head matters a lot in power rankings. It matters a lot in power rankings to us.
In our power rankings, yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And it's hard for us to put you in front of a team that beat you unless your record is significantly better. And it just it's clear that this was a one-off.
Well, Georgia Tech, it wasn't just they got beat bad. And it was like Mitch Griffiths was just not having a day at all. And it sort of felt like fool's gold in terms of what their record was previously. And we already were not that high on Wake Forest to begin with. So let's not pretend that we were like, oh, yeah, they're going to be the dark horse. Nah, we weren't feeling them after the loss of Sam Hartman. So I think they're sitting decently right now. Yeah. All right, let's get to the number 10 spot. Surprisingly enough, Georgia Tech, when you beat the man, you can get a little bit higher than the man. And Georgia Tech did just that. Not too much, though, because they still got a lot of work to do.
I've realized what the problem is with Georgia Tech. I've realized it. Okay. They don't have depth at all. They don't have – their starters are good. Their starters can do it. They have no depth behind them. It happens game after game after game. Their starters wear out at the end of the game. Either they lack depth or their strength conditioning program got to be one of the worst in the nation. It's one of those two has to be true.
Lord, let's hope it's the one.
Because they continue to fizzle out down the stretch. You are right. They had Wake Forest beat bad, but what happened in that fourth quarter? All of a sudden you look up and it's a one-score game. Yeah. What are you doing? And then that's when you realize, they just don't have when their backups come in, it's like a whole different team out there, dog. So, credit to them. Again, big fans of Key here.
Yeah.
But this is where you are.
Yeah, 1,000%. All right. I think beyond the bottom 5, there are certainly some bright spots. There are things that we can be excited about when it comes to some of these programs. Let's pay some bills here. As we talk about, as I mentioned, today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Gametime is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. They're obsessed with finding ways to help save you money on tickets. Gametime has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event, and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats. I wish they could find me something for Beyonce, but that's okay. Find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, maybe comedy, theater, and more. With zone deals, you pick the section and Gametime picks the seats for an average of 18% savings. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDON College for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON College for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Kenton Gibbs here talking through our power rankings. And look, boy, oh boy, 9 through 1 is going to get dicey. Pitt, where you at? Where is Peninsula P when you need him? He has been missing, and maybe that's the piece that has been missing.
No,
for the Panthers.
See, you're not asking which came first, the chicken or the egg. You're asking which came first, the chicken or the chicken nugget. Peninsula P knows that his boys are looking rough. He knows they looking down bad. He said,
I ain't seen them.
He said, I ain't got nothing to do with them comments.
There ain't no hell to Pitt. It's a hell no to Pitt right now.
It's a hell no to Pitt at the moment, okay? I'm going to stay up out them comments because they going to be on my head. Peninsula P, come on back. We still love you, baby.
We miss you.
We still love you. Regardless of how your team is doing, we still love you, brother. But very seriously, this is a Pitt team that offensively, to say that they're abysmal is an understatement. And then when you lose Phil Dracovic, and don't get me wrong, even when Phil Dracovic was playing, they were on pace to get the doors blown off by UNC. But once Phil went out, it was really like, oh, y'all wanted the backup? You got the backup.
Careful what you wish for.
Is this what you wanted? Is this what you want? And boy, that was.
But I think credit to Narduzzi for really trying to tell y'all, like, listen, we're gonna stick beside him because I don't think you want the other side, and that is the backups. Like, he is QB1 for a reason. So as hard as y'all are going about replacements, maybe not too much on Phil because he is holding it down the best he can, giving us what we got.
Phil, get better. Narduzzi, go find you a quarterback. Go find you a quarterback of your own, brother. Go find you a young pup that you can mold out of high school and make in your image that you want to be for the next 3 to 4 years. These transfers ain't working out.
That's not his mojo. He loves defense. He wants it to plug and play.
In the words of former President George Bush, fool me one time, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't get fooled again. Okay? You got fooled again. Pat, you got fooled again. Come on now, brother. You got to get it together. Get you a young pup out of high school. Raise him up. You might go through a year or two of struggles with him, but 3, 4, that's where you're going to really get good at. That's where you're really going to work it out.
Does Narduzzi have 3 or 4 years to figure out quarterbacks right now?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Like lifetime contract at Pitt? You think so?
Oh, I don't think that Pitt would get rid of him because the way that his defenses perform, they can win in spite of bad quarterback play at times. But they can win with decent quarterback play regularly. Like there's, I've always talked about the 3 types of quarterbacks: the one you win because of, the one you win with, the one you win in spite of. Right now, they can win in spite of quarterbacks here and there. With a decent quarterback, they could go 8 wins or so. With a good quarterback, ACC championship territory.
Fair enough. All right, let's talk about number 8 here, NC State, your favorite. Not too much, please. We ain't got all day. It's a 30-minute show.
I mean, I don't know what else I can say. The NC State fans got real upset at me for some of the things I said on ACC Network, but I'll stick beside it.
What did they get upset at you about?
I said that during they played the clip of him saying that folks should be happy that we won the game and we went through a lot in terms of injuries and all that. Here's the deal. Nobody cares that Phil Dracovic is out. Nobody cares that Ali Jennings is out. Nobody cares that Clemson's best corner went down with what looked like a very serious injury toward the end of the Florida State game. Nobody's saying that any of their losses have asterisks next to them. You know why that's not happening? Because it's football. I've got 2 scars on my Achilles and 2 on my bicep as well to show this is not a game that most people make it out of perfectly okay and fine. That's the reality. If you believe that, I got oceanfront property to sell you on Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh. Don't ask me which ocean, just pay me the money first. But the reality is very simple. So what did you got injuries? You need to handle Virginia in a more succinct way than you did. You cannot allow a 2-point conversion from the 18-yard line and then say, well, y'all need to be just happy that we won. You won because Virginia pissed down their leg in such a way that the pants was soggy afterwards. The pants was soggy and hot, okay? So with that being said, I'm not going to give you credit for winning that game in that fashion. Congratulations on the win. A win is a win, absolutely, but I'm not going to give you credit and lift you up for that.
That's fair. I mean, I've been trying to put them down at the bottom all this time, and you keep trying to fight for them. So I think NC State fans should be a little bit nicer to you because you've been, really trying to rally around the troops. However, I do not believe in Brennan Armstrong. I've seen what I need to see. I've seen what I need to see. I don't see much. Okay, I'm not a believer. And you're asking me to believe that Peyton Wilson can make it through what? How many 8 more games it is? Okay,
now you talk about not too much.
Okay.
That boy, let me tell you something. There have been multiple plays this season that if number 11 in red wasn't out there, it's Katie Diggs at the doorstep. Strike up the band. The other team.
That's what I'm saying. He has to put the whole team on his back, and you know that boy is made of.
Watch it now. He does have some injury problems. I get that.
Okay, let's go to number 7 here. The Clemson Tigers.
I
never thought I'd see the day that we would put Clemson at number 7 on the power rankings.
They need to be happy. They need to be happy because in the ACC standings right now,
come on,
they are battling Boston College at the bottom. Only 2
Virginia.
teams. Oh, I'm sorry, Virginia. Virginia's played 2 conference games already? Who did they play?
At the bottom. I thought Virginia's at the bottom. No, Virginia's at the bottom. I looked at it yesterday.
I thought they only played NC State. I thought that was the only.
Don't do me.
Because they played James Madison.
Virginia is at the bottom. I swear.
Who did they play? They played James Madison. They
BC is at the bottom. I swear.
Yeah, I'm not crazy. They 0-2 in conference because they played 2.
Look, UVA, Clemson, Boston College. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, Clemson is down technically below Virginia right now. If the season ended right now, Virginia would be ahead of them in conference in terms of conference play. So with that in mind, be happy you're at 7. You got too cute for your britches. You have a big bruising monster in Phil Maffa, and you need 1 yard, and you're throwing a screen. You have a cornerback that is hurt. And instead of saying, we've stopped the run well all day with what's in the box, let's go too high, let's trust our box to stop the run. You say, no, we need an extra body to stop the thing that we've been stopping successfully all day. Let's leave a backup corner one-on-one with Keon Coleman, who've been ducking on everybody like prom to Dwight Howard. Brother, are you out your mind? Were you hoping that Brent Venables lost to Cincinnati so you could call him back and say, hey, come on back. You're going to be outside.
Dabo loves to call somebody back and tell them to come be on their team again. So that's 1. But 2, you are very stuck on these 2 plays that they jacked up. I ain't going to hold you.
I am very stuck on those 2 plays because those 2 plays are indicative of major problems.
Absolutely.
Major problems. Again, if you are stopping the run well against Florida State, which they were, Florida State's leading rusher had 25 rushing yards.
Come on.
Why do you need to commit extra bodies to the box when you could say they got 6'7" on one side, 6'4" on the other side, and 6'4" might be better than 6'7"? So let's go ahead and get right, church, and let's go home with these 2 deep safeties. If you beat us, you're going to have to beat us with Johnny Wilson making a mundane catch. And he seems to struggle with that at times. So that's how you should have made them beat you. But what did you do? You let them get one-on-one. You let your corner get dunked on by a receiver that's been dunking on everybody this year. So be happy that you are where you are, Clemson.
Amen. Somebody let the church pass the plate because, listen, they got a good one against coming up for this team here that I want to go over in just a bit. But, of course, I want to remind you guys about this new deal that we have going on with our friends at DoorDash. Listen, it is crazy that we're here, but you've trusted DoorDash to deliver your restaurant favorites, and now you can get grocery deliveries that actually deliver too. With thousands of grocery stores to choose from, you'll find the best in your neighborhood and boost your local economy with each and every order. You'll get exactly what you ordered, or we'll make it right. So sit back and enjoy quality groceries just like you picked them yourself. Want even more value? You can save on all grocery and restaurant favorites with $0 delivery fee on all eligible orders with a Dash Pass membership. Get 50% off your first DoorDash order up to $20 value when you use code LOCKEDONCollege at checkout. Limited time offer and terms apply. That's 50% off up to $20, no minimum subtotal, and $0 delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter code LOCKEDONCollege. Don't forget, that's LOCKEDONCollege for 50% off your first order with DoorDash. I'm going to go have to find a new email so I can get me that DoorDash thing. I don't know about you, but your girl could use a free scoop of ice cream for Baskin Robbins, let's say. So let's talk through the fact that we're here at 7, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The 6-1, we haven't had 6 teams be undefeated, right?
Yeah.
So everyone's going to be in their feels. I've seen it time and time again, week after week. Somebody gets in a tizzy, but here we go. Okay.
But guess what? It's going to get sorted out in the wash. Most of these teams are going to play each other. They're going to see each other.
They have to. Yes. And let's start with this one who plays up against number 7, Clemson this week. Syracuse sits at number 6. Undefeated team. You have to give him credit. Garrett Schrader is not only leading in passing yards, but rushing yards as well. He's putting the team on his back, doing what he needs to do best, picking up right where Sean Tucker left off. Defense is doing what they need to do as well. They're actually more highly predicted to win this week than Clemson. And it's shocking because we know how much Syracuse likes to play up for this one, but there's actually a reasonable, expectation that they could pick up the W.
I gotta give Dino Babers his credit. That defense, also known as the mob, they get it done. They get it done. They are all over the place. They fly to the ball. They are connected to one another. Justin Barron is balling out on the back end. That is a team that is doing it. They are absolutely doing it. More power to them. With that being said, we're still looking. We're still looking and saying, hey.
Nah, I'm still looking. Don't we, because I don't speak no French around here. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you this then. Let me put you on spot. You got them beating Clemson
this
Saturday? Oh.
And Cade, I do not trust. Come on.
Oh. Well,
yes, they look like the better team against Florida State, but Florida State ain't Clemson. Syracuse, and Syracuse ain't Florida State. New week, new opportunity.
Ooh, Sabu, boy, you bad. Ride around on your magic carpet. Ain't got to worry about no gas. Okay. You got it. You bold. Your bold predictions ain't been working out for you so far, but we're gonna see.
Wow. Just because you're tied with the fans, now all of a sudden you got a little attitude because you think you're gonna win this thing. But it's okay. I ain't worried about it. And Garrett, I trust the veteran leadership that is. I've always been down for Dino. Anybody who knows that, I've been called everything but child of God because I've been down for Dino. And so I'm cool with
She's
riding
not lying.
train.
She is not lying.
I'm cool with riding my Dino train, and that's fine. Here
Absolutely.
we go. Number 5, though. Maybe this make a couple people happy. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the Louisville Cardinals. Top 5. You got to be some teams that we know maybe a little higher pedigree. But it's going to start with this good one here on, what do we have, Friday night against NC State.
Let me quote the Queen, Miss Anita Baker. From beginning to end, 365 days of the year, we need that same old Jack Plummer, baby. And let me tell you something. If he shows up in the way that he did last week, if that Jack Plummer comes to play all the rest of these games, we could very seriously have something on our hands in terms of Jamari Thrash and Johar Jordan and Jack Plummer being seen as the new big 3 in college football that nobody saw coming. Johar Jordan, 9.8 yards per carry. Jamari Thrash, every time you look up, he in the end zone. If you're a defensive coordinator, just keep your head down, brother, because you look up, he going to be in that end zone, I promise you. So with that being said, this group is dynamic. Their defense, they've had some moments where it's like, all right now, hold on, but they bend, but they don't break. They don't allow a ton of points. They do allow a lot of yards, but when they get in that red zone, when it's time to bow their neck, they do an amazing job of it. And this is a team, they could do something special. But again, it's all on the QB.
Louisville fans told us we didn't really necessarily want to believe. We had our doubts.
Yeah.
But I would argue that Braum is right now in the conversation for ACC Coach of the Year.
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%. Wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Him and Dino right there.
Not you giving a nod to Dino. Ooh.
Yeah. Who would have thought that Dino would be in a position to where we're looking at them as one of the better teams in the conference?
I would have thought. Me.
Okay.
This girl. The same person who called Duke. Okay. All right. We can talk about it. We're gonna talk about it soon.
You know some ball. Candace Cooper, knower of ball. I give you your guts.
Maybe they'll let me on ACC Network one day. Gosh, dog. Wow. Golly gee, wow. Maybe one day I can aspire to be Kenton.
Here we go.
All right. Let's talk about number 4, the Miami Hurricanes, who are undefeated still. Blew out a Temple team. I think we don't have them in the top 3 only because it's Temple. Cool. Did what you're supposed to do. Get a cookie and a small parade.
Yeah.
But I'm ready for some conference matchups between these guys, the Hurricanes, but still feel good about them.
I keep asking myself, how impressive is the Texas A&M win? Like that keeps coming back to me. And I hate to be that way. I really do. But when I look at Texas A&M, I say to myself, this is a team that's going to finish with 6-7 wins in the SEC. Don't get me wrong, that should mean something, but I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. It's tough. But with that being said, this Miami team, again, they got the horses in the stable. Because you tell me. So you tell me what you think of Texas A&M right now. Tell me what you think.
They're terrible. What you want to do?
But that's my point. So if that's your best win, and and they have looked impressive against everybody else, but trust me, these top 5, 4 really, it's really like all of y'all are a razor's edge away from one another. So that's all I got there.
It's very much razor thin margins here. Let's talk about number 3, North Carolina. I just feel like I'm so used to not having that much faith, and they keep proving me wrong. So I'm going to keep up with this not having that much faith in thing and maybe win an ACC championship because of it.
It's very possible. This team defense is not amazing, but they've proven that they can get some stops this year. Yeah. And that's all they needed last year. They didn't need a defense that was going to be world beaters. They just needed some stops. And the defense said, I don't really feel like it. Not today. So with that being said, that plus a much improved running game. I don't know where these backs are coming from, but boy, I'll tell you, every time you look up, a back from in baby blue is standing in somebody's end zone.
I mean, British Brooks was here last year. Amarian Hampton is here this year, but let's not act like my boy Javonte Williams wasn't there, and neither was Michael Carter. So it's not like we're not used to strong running games. But I will say, as much as you talk about Drake May being human, it's nice to see everyone else rise to the occasion or be like, Drake does not have to do this by himself. Because in the grand scheme, if you think about it, these are quote unquote no names, right? There's a Paysauer, you've got Bo Atkinson on defense, you've got Kamon Rucker on defense, like you've got Kamari Morales, who is a really good tight end, but they're not necessarily guys that you hear week after week. And so I think that, it's amazing to see how they've been able to just level the playing field in terms of who's going to get the highlight reel this week. What was the boy's name? Hazazi, something or another. Got the special teams player of the week off the strength of just, hey, let's join the party.
And again, I give them their credit. And when I look at what Drake May has done this year, he has struggled a bit coming into this game and in some of the earlier games that we've seen this season. However, he looked very clean despite being sacked a ton. Which does raise a little bit of a concern. It does raise a little bit of a problem. But all in all, you got to give this team their respect. You got to give this team their respect as a legitimate contender in the ACC.
Absolutely. Let's talk about number 2 here. The Duke Blue Devils, very legit team, took care of business against UConn. Have a tough road against them this weekend going into Notre Dame. College game day for the first time ever is coming for Duke football. Honestly, I'm happy that Coach K is retired so they don't make it about basketball and then try to throw the football in there. Like, they need to get, Spurrier there if he wants to come back and all the things. But I'm excited for Duke football to get this shine because there are a lot of good people over there. They're trying their best. But this is a game. And I think Notre Dame is going to, do their thing. Can Duke put up a strong showing? Because we felt like the Clemson upset was really shocking, but then once you see sort of the matriculation of Clemson this season, it's not so shocking as to why they got upset. Now, if they play it close against Notre Dame, I'm starting to have Duke in that conversation of being a top 10 team.
Here's the problem. Notre Dame played an extremely physical game last week where they got beat up and wore down a little bit in that game.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. That's their brand of football. They want to come in and strongman you. Well, this is the irresistible force meets the immovable object, a starting defense that has not allowed anybody to drive the length of the field yet, going up against an offense that, again, I'm not saying that they're as potent as anybody, but they're as physical as anybody. Dwayne Carter is really good on that inside. They're going to make sure that they're going to test them out and make sure Estime is coming downhill, no frills. Let's see what you got, brother. It's going to be one of those games where you got to put your big boy pants on. You got to be ready because this is going to be one of them ones.
I love how every time you start talking defense and you're real serious, you get real close to the camera and you get real intense in everybody's face. I just had to point that out, but that's just me. It's not like Notre Dame is not used. Sam Hartman's quarterback is not used to this Duke defense coming from Wake Forest. It's not like this Duke defense is not used to Sam Hartman. So I think that, it's going to be a very interesting weekend for Riley Leonard to kind of show himself and prove himself against this Notre Dame defense. Number one, of course, who's had a great start to the season, trying to keep things up brick by brick, rock by rock, you should really say, as they are breaking it. The Florida State Seminoles are hanging on at that top spot, taking down Goliath.
I have told everybody multiple times that these teams that Florida State have played have pissed down their legs and done terrible, terrible coaching decisions that you look at and say, that is tantamount to coaching malpractice multiple times. However, Florida State's still doing it. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's not Florida State's fault if they want to leave a 5'10" corner on a 6'4" receiver and say, hey, y'all, if the team decides to do that and you take advantage of it, good on you. Yeah. This is football. Everybody starts with a level playing field. Sorry. So Florida State deserves their respect, and they are a number one team. They are the best team in this conference in terms of what we're looking at. But let me tell you this. This is not the standard ACC that we've seen in the past where there's been a big, bad boogeyman that everybody needs to be aware of. And it's like, hey, y'all can go ahead, and if you're not the second or third best team in the conference, go ahead and pencil in the L. Florida State has shown us. They've shown us against Boston College, who lost to NIU, that's not the case here. That's not the case.
And for those that argue that, okay, Duke should be ahead of FSU by way of how, they beat Clemson, I think that's week one. Everybody gets popped in the mouth.
Our head-to-head doesn't do transitive. Transitive doesn't work in college football. I'm sorry to tell you.
Beyond that, week one, they just got popped in the mouth. They were not expecting Duke to be that good. Yeah. Cool, we can have that. Clemson looked like the better team against Florida State, sure. However, you're in Death Valley. You win. And I think that was what makes it better for me. And it's week 4 where we've had our conversations about how teams are sort of figuring out who they are as programs. But to say all that to say, I think that Florida State definitely has to respond well because we are used to them being sometimes immature after big wins or, playing it close, CC the Boston College game. And so I'm just very interested to see how they respond moving forward, to being sort of that man on top and how Norvell helps manage those feelings and emotions.
I 1,000% agree. This is Florida State is good enough to where if they lose a game 9 times out of 10, it'll be because they beat themselves. 9 times out of 10. However, again, that 1 out of 10, like if we look at the Jameis-led nose, right? If we look at the Deshaun Watson-led Clemson Tigers, if we look at the T-Law and ETN-led Tigers, there was 0 out of 10 anybody was going to beat them because they were the better team. Like there was no way that would happen. with that being said, I'm looking at these teams and I'm saying there's a chance that Florida State plays their best game, somebody else plays their best game, and that other team wins. That's a very real possibility.
But this ain't the same Florida State team that also lost to Jacksonville State, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
that, you absolutely have to just respect the growth of them while also recognizing that there's still a long way to go a little bit. But for now, we can get excited and behind the fact that they took down the reigning ACC champions, and that's why we have them at the top spot.
I'm confused as to people saying that we forgot the 21-point win to LSU when they're number one. I'm confused by that. Are they not at the top?
They are. I think they're arguing with themselves, Kenton.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
You've had a long day, Hollywood. You've had a long day.
I'm Hollywood, boy.
Well, those are our rankings, 14-1. Let us know what you think. You always do. We always appreciate it when you stop by the show. Make sure that you download, subscribe to the podcast anywhere you listen. Make sure that you check out all of our friends here at Locked On Podcast Network. And you respond with some loving thoughts. Leave us 5-star reviews. Tell everyone just how much you love Kenton on ACC Network. Go to @ACC Network and let everyone know just how really good he did today and how much you want him to come back, because anything that's good for him is good for the brand, and ultimately we support and love all that he is doing. So make sure you check all that out. For Candace Cooper and Kenton Gibbs, until next time.